comes from John Hegarty at Brightstar Capital Partners, who writes, Warren, you're stepping down from the Kraft Heinz board at a time when the company is looking to do a large acquisition, Unilever, for example. Do you fundamentally disagree with the combative nature of hostile bids, activist investing, and competitive proxy contests?
Well, we will not make hostile tenders ourselves. I do not believe that there's anything fundamentally wrong with the idea. If you take the Fortune 500 companies, I'm sure that all 500 are not managed by the best, or in some cases even the friendliest to investor and managements in the world. So I don't think it's evil or anything to conduct hostile offer for a company. It's just we won't do it, and we don't want to get into that. We like being liked by the managements that we join because we're counting on them to run the company, and we're not bringing in a whole bunch of people that know how to change businesses. We seldom take a position opposite to management, very seldom, on anything involving a proxy, but a contest of sorts. But we don't rule it out. We don't think every management is entitled to be, that they don't have a lifetime hold on their business. But it's not our style at all well, we won't do it in terms of initiating it ourselves, and we'd be very, very, very unlikely to support that contest. But we have voted against a couple of propositions over 50 years that managements have had made in relation to stock options. We withheld a vote at Coca-Cola a few years ago to express our opinion. But we don't think it's evil for the shareholders, in some cases, to have different opinions about who should run the company or whether compensation is appropriate or matters of that sort. The stockholders still own the company. Charlie?
I've got nothing to add to that.
Okay.
I don't envy these people that are in these unfriendly uproars all the time. Imagine doing that after you were already rich. It's insane.
Yeah, we are definitely not looking for it, but there are certainly companies that deserve challenge. I mean, and they propose things that deserve challenge occasionally. But again, it's not our main activity. And the question was asked in reference to Kraft Heinz. The people at 3G are great managers. They've been wonderful partners. I had made a determination before we got involved there. I was going to be on no more public boards. I've been on 19 of them, and it takes a lot of time. And they asked me if I'd go on for a while, and I did. But it really is like 7.5 days or something. And if you're on a bank board, it may be quite a bit more than that. I mean, they're just being on a public board usually means quarterly meetings plus maybe an extra one. And at 87, I think I've now learned what happens, and it's fine. But I don't want to spend 7.5 days a year when I can call up people that I trust and admire who are on the board, and in 5 minutes, we find out what's going on or whatever it may be, any questions that come up. And so we are their partners and delighted to be their partners. And now we have 2 people on the board of Kraft Heinz, and they can do the traveling and I can stay home. Charlie, how many public, you're on Costco, of course, but no, over your lifetime, how many public boards?
Costco, except for something like the Daily Journal where I own part of it, Costco is the only public board.
You were on Kansas.
There wasn't Berkshire or something I own personally.
Yeah.
I was on Kansas City Power and Light. Boy, that goes way back. But basically, it hasn't happened. I don't envy people who float around to a lot of different board meetings.
No, generally speaking, you have very little influence and spend a lot of time. And the trouble is, if you're going to a board meeting, particularly if you get to be international, and sometimes they feel they have to have one that's international, they feel they have to take up a fair amount of your time, or it wouldn't have been worth coming, thousands of miles for. So you get a lot of this show and tell stuff, and that I find my mind drifting. Okay, Gary.
Yes, you've said that you are looking for non-insurance large acquisitions to put that cash to work. And when you've said that, I've usually thought of the United States because you're a big fan of the U.S. business. And I just was wondering whether you're seeing more opportunities as the rest of the world opens up, grows, whether there's opportunities for some of those mega transactions in other parts of the world, say Asia or Europe.
Yeah, Gary, I would say that I've been disappointed in that because we do see some outside the United States, and thank heavens we saw the one we saw in Israel some years ago when Eitan wrote me a letter. And we bought a business which is a very important part of Berkshire now, but we are still not. They're certainly aware of Berkshire Hathaway outside the United States, but they don't sort of pick up the phone automatically. In the United States, I think any large, particularly private company that is thinking about doing something, they at least think about Berkshire. But that in Europe or Asia, that we are not embedded in the minds the same way. They know about us, they know we got a lot of money, and they know we like to buy things, but we're on the radar screen big time in the United States, and we don't immediate desire to be sure that they've thought about the Berkshire option does not occur the same way outside the United States. And we've tried to encourage it a few ways, but I would say that the results have not been great at all. But I hope tomorrow, I get a call from Germany or Britain or Italy or you name it, and Australia, and wherever it may be, and I hope I get a call and we get an opportunity to do it. There's a good many countries we'd be quite happy to put substantial money into it. And like I say, our experience in Israel has been just terrific. Charlie?
Yeah, but the corporate acquisition game now, it's so driven by the leveraged buyout and this is so-called, what do they call them? Strategic, yes. Strategic. I usually translate that into barnyard language. And there's so much craziness in price from our viewpoint. Of course, it's very hard for us to do it. The people in the leveraged buyout game who love massive leverage and don't mind high prices, even they are getting nosebleeds. It's hard. And it's not an environment that means that it allows Berkshire just to go out and buy a whole lot of companies.
Have we ever made a strategic deal that
we have to wait?
We've made a strategic deal that you can remember?
Hmm?
Have we ever made a deal that we would have regarded as strategic?
We never had a strategic plan unless you hid it from me.
Okay, that answers that.